Access Fort Wayne offers reflections of our community. Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne are a service of the Allen County Public Library. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting organizations. For more information about creating your own television program with Access Fort Wayne, call 421-1250.
Welcome back to my show. This week we have a very special guest. And you know who he is? He is Bob Roets, the president of Wooden Nickel Music Stores. Hello.
Hi, Patty. Nice to be back.
Oh, it's been since August 25th, 1912. 2012, I mean.
Older than I thought.
More than a long time ago. Anyways, 2012. It's been about a year and 7 or 8 months, hasn't it?
It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
It has. And I remember I watched a rerun, not a rerun, but the YouTube video of our show this morning. And we did good.
We did good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
So at the end of the other show that we did about almost 2 years ago, we were talking about merchandise. Now, we're going to discuss it, but we got sort of.
I think one thing we were talking about was we started coming out with wood nickel T-shirts. I think that was one of the things. Since then, we've come out with 11 different T-shirts, and we've been around 32 years.
Right.
And we've done T-shirts before, but this is the first time that we've done like all colors. And for Record Store Day last year, we came out with tie-dye shirts for the first time.
Tie-dye?
Yes.
Are you going back to the 60s?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what,
no.
They've been our most popular T-shirts we've ever introduced.
Well, the younger kids are starting to know what it's like to be in the 60s.
Yeah.
This is 50 years ago, man.
Yeah, oh yeah. I remember the 60s. I was a little kid.
I wasn't. Anyways, how old are you? Never mind.
Oh.
So
I'm double nickel.
Double nickel.
What that is?
Double dose. What else did you sell besides the T-shirts?
At Record Store Day?
Yeah.
I think we were discussing Record Store Day last time.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to do that again this year. This year it's going to be on April 19th.
It's
a Saturday. Yes. And I'm already getting bands lined up for that. Last year we had 20 bands play. Believe it or not, one day. I think that's a record for Fort Wayne. We usually start with acoustic bands at 8 in the morning, and we run till 11 at night with some of the harder rock bands. But
what's the genre listed? Like you start off with what in the morning and end up with what at night?
Well, we'll start off with just acoustic, just someone with a guitar, acoustic, like singer-songwriters. And then we go to like Americana bands, like a Possum Trot Orchestra type band.
I've heard of them.
Yes, and then we'll do like Alicia Pyle Quartet, which is a jazz band. We'll go to indie rock bands, like the Slow Pokes or somebody like that. That's more of an indie rock band. And then in the evening, we'll do some of the heavier bands. We'll do like Valhalla, like a Valhalla, Flamingo Nosebleed, which is a punk band. But we try to represent as much culture as we possibly can in the music. But yes, very, very diverse, But that particular day, what we do, the whole crux behind this, back in 2007, the gentleman who owned Criminal Records down in Atlanta, Georgia, gave me a phone call, and he says, "Oh, you're one of the few surviving chains left in the United States." He said, "We're trying to put together something to bring focus back to independent retail, because with downloading and so forth, a lot of the indie record stores like us had gone out of business." And
is that what you call yourself, indie record?
Yeah, that's what we're basically an independent record store. Yes. Yeah. And so he gave me a call, and he said, "We'd like to put something together with the record companies and have them do maybe some special pressings on vinyl or CD and that type of thing. And it took about a year to get it all organized. And my contribution to it was live performances. And one of the things I'm proudest of is that out in Amoeba Records out in L.A., they were able to get Metallica to come out, the band Metallica,
Really?
to come out, and they officially opened Record Store Day in 2008, and they were there live, and that was a big deal. And then, you know, everybody from Bruce Springsteen to Paul McCartney ended up doing live shows in record stores on Record Store Day. And we've had a tradition from the first year of having, I think the least amount of bands we've ever had is 6, but every year it seems to grow. I think I'm maxing out at 20 at this point, but because it gets to be a bit of a long day for us. But
how many songs each do?
We usually give the bands 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 minutes is what they get. Yes.
And a change of scene.
Yes. Yeah, we have a stage. We have a portable stage at our North Anthony location, and we have a full PA system, mic stands, all that kind of thing. And so the bands just come in and rotate in and out, and they bring their fans in, and it brings thousands of people into our stores that day. So that's pretty cool. But getting back to Record Store Day itself, what's happened over the years is more and more labels and independent artists and stuff have decided to release product for that day. And this year we had 313 different pieces come out in one day, which is the biggest new release day we've ever had in our history. And so we sold a lot of product.
So you would have people who are doing releases, CD releases.
Yeah, or LP releases.
LP,
yeah.
LP
and CD, yeah.
Yeah. LP is definitely coming back.
Oh, it's making a huge comeback. I'll give you an example. I work at the North Clinton Wood Nickel store, and since Christmas, we've brought in over 600 new albums just in the last month.
Is that here to stay, dear?
I wish I could answer that question. That's a $1 million question. If you could give me the answer to that would stick, I'd be real happy. But I really don't know. I mean, we've since Record Store Day started, we've had double-digit growth in vinyl now for 6 or 7 straight years, which I'm really happy about.
How long were we without vinyl?
Well, yeah, that's the bad part. Is I went through the whole CD revolution. I was the first guy to bring CDs in Fort Wayne back in 1984.
Yeah.
First CD ever introduced in Fort Wayne, to give you an example, was Genesis.
Genesis?
Yeah, that had Mama on it. Remember that album?
Yeah.
And that came out in 1984. Wood Nickel was the first place to stock CDs in Fort Wayne. And that was 84, and by 89 or 90, I had virtually gotten rid of all my vinyl, which is like 5 years. And then vinyl wasn't being made or pressed from about 91 until 2008.
Wow.
So there was about a 16-year period where no vinyl was being made. And then when it started to come back, they'd go back and they'd reissue old, like let's say some of the more popular bands, I'll give you a couple examples, Pearl Jam or Nirvana were never on vinyl. And so they'd go back and they reissued them. So now we have a lot of the more popular ones.
Too? Did you put from the CDs to the LPs?
As far as what?
Transference.
You can do that. It could be done. I mean, you could take we sell what's called USB turntables, and what a lot of people do is they take their old vinyl, and you hook up the turntable to your computer, whether a portable or a regular desktop with a USB connection, and you can actually make a file out of the vinyl of each song, and you can put that on a CD, or you can make an MP3 out of it. You can listen to it on your iPad or.
And you're selling them.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The market's been changing an awful lot. And vinyl is one of the key aspects to us getting back to prominence again after having some years where downloading really devastated our industry.
So. Downloading. Oh, don't mention that. I'm on Reverb Nation with my songs.
Oh, are you? Oh, good.
But I haven't seen a red cent.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the bad part about people downloading is the bands make very little money off of a download. They make several times as much. Exposure. Oh, yeah. Well, that's one good thing. I mean, for example, I embrace YouTube. YouTube for me makes no money, but I don't know too many guys. As an example, believe it or not, I've downloaded 2,200 videos since 2006, and you're like, why would you do that? Well, I give exposure to almost every Fort Wayne band
Yeah.
through the years,
Right.
and you can go on there and you take a local band and you're going to see Bob's videos listed for almost everybody. Well, I'll give you an example. Last Saturday, we had 10 bands come in and play at our Anthony store. We called it Winter Jam. It was helped, Taylor Fredericks.
Yes.
Taylor helped organize it, and once again, we did the whole acoustic band through metal and punk. 7 hours of music, and I videotaped all the shows, and I did 47 videos Saturday.
Oh wow!
And they're all up on YouTube for if you want to catch them. Some of them have already gotten just in the I've just put those up 4 days ago. Flamingo Nosebleed, who's Fort Wayne's most popular punk band, they've gotten over 100 hits already in
Wow.
4 or 5 days. So, but it's good exposure for Wood Nickel and the bands itself, and it's a way for me to kind of be involved with local music and help give back a little bit to the community, because the community's been so good to me over the years.
So with the community, for the Whammies that are
Yes,
coming up,
Whammies coming up.
What day?
That is March 6th. It's a Thursday night. Doors open at 6 o'clock.
6?
Yes.
Wow, that's
and
early.
well, the reason is I believe we're going to have 6 to 8 bands playing that night.
Oh, my.
They as of when we're taping this, we're getting ready to announce them. But they're normally 6 to 8 of the most popular bands in the city, and they'll do about 20-minute sets also. This will be at C2G Music Hall. This will be the second year we're doing it there. We used to do it at Pierre's, but we recently moved to C2G. And you can get tickets for that at all our Wood Nickel stores. That's where they're sold.
Advanced tickets.
Yes, advanced tickets. And so the public's welcome. But what we do that night is we honor the arts community, whether it's music, all different types of artists, from painters through the entire stage, screen.
Right.
Then we do restaurants, we do the media, whether it's radio personalities,
Or
television
TV,
personalities, and a lot of the television, we usually have some television personalities that come in and give awards that night, that type of thing. So there's a lot of recognizable people that show up. So it's a lot of fun. And we do about 40, last year I think it was 43 different awards that we give away.
Wow.
So it's pretty varied. But what we do is we intersperse the awards with music. Yeah, and that works really, really well. And it's just for me, it's a great night for everybody that's in the arts and entertainment areas to just kind of mingle a little bit and network.
Schmooze.
Yeah. My job last year and will be this year is I do all the pictures for publicity. So I'm out there
Snapping
with
away.
my camera. Yeah. I take a picture of all the winners and that kind of thing. And so it's a fun night, though. I always look forward to it. It's one of the only nights of the year that you can really get the whole community together in one place. So it's a lot of fun.
So who organized the Whammies?
The Whammies were created by Doug Driscoll, a real good friend of mine. He started What's Up magazine.
What's up, Meg?
Yes, and I believe he's 17 years in, and one of the first things he did was start the Whammies. This is the 15th year that we've done it, and I've been involved forever. The thing with Doug is I've been in every What's Up since the first one he did. I think myself and Chuck over at Sweetwater, we're the only two guys that have been in every issue since he started.
Goodness.
But Doug and I have a great relationship. I do a lot of things with Doug, not only the Whammies, but I've been doing Battle of the Bands with him, which is a whole nother, I don't know if you want to get into that or not.
Yeah,
But,
I'd like to get
Okay,
into
sure.
it.
Battle of the Bands, this is going to be our 11th year.
11?
When
When is
doing
that?
Battle of the Bands. It starts in May.
May.
That particular program is at Columbia Street West. And what that's all about is we invite bands to come in and play in it's a competitive atmosphere in a way, because we'll start with 32, 36 bands usually, and we usually by August we run all summer.
Right.
By August we choose a winner, and the prize package is usually run between $20,000 and $25,000. We have a
really?
lot of sponsors.
Oh, my.
And so it could be very lucrative if you make it in the top 8 to top 4. You can do very well for yourself. I mean, just the equipment you get from Sweetwater, because Sweetwater is the main sponsor.
So is
can
it
be
every week? this band or every?
Yeah, what we do is we usually have 4 to 5 bands play a week. We usually have 2 that move on from each show that we do. It's always on Thursday nights. We start at 9 o'clock and run till midnight on Thursday nights, starting in May, and we get to the semifinals in August, and then the finals will be the top 4, and that's always the fun. That's my favorite night because everybody comes out for that. We normally completely pack Columbia Street that night. We'll get 500, 600, 700 people out there that night, which that place is just happening, But that's the fun night. But then we crown a champion that night in August. So that's a lot of fun. I've been a judge there. This will be my 7th year,
Right.
and this will be my 3rd year as the head judge and running it down there for Doug. So it's just a tremendous amount of fun
And
for me.
you meet a lot of good people.
Well, yes, and one of the interesting aspects of it is every year you get to meet new bands that sign up, and you have no idea who they are. And by the end of the competition, you're like, "This is my favorite local band now." I mean, when Elevates in Mud or Fair Fiola or Trackless, who won this last year, I knew very little about them when they first came on stage. But they had us all just like, loving, wanting more by the end of the competition after we had seen them a few times. So a few stars are born in Fort Wayne through that.
Oh, you mean they turn national or international? Do you know of any who have?
Oh, no, not. I'm just saying from a local standpoint,
Oh.
Bands that didn't really have a name when they started the competition, by the end, all of a sudden they're getting great bookings at some of the best clubs around, and some of them, branch out from Fort Wayne and end up playing outside of Fort Wayne and out of state and that type of thing. And usually, like this last year, Trackless that won, they got a full CD produced here locally, and 1,000 copies were made, and so they're having a good time with winning. The year before, for example, Fair Fiola, one of the prizes was a van.
Really?
Chuck Sarek he has Sweet Cars, which is a division of Sweetwater. They had a Chrysler van that they decided that they would give away to the winner. It was like a pretty expensive van, and so the band won that, and they were a family because Fair Fiola. I don't know if
Band won a band.
Yeah, they're actually a family.
Oh, what?
Yeah, from Warsaw. Yeah.
Oh my.
And just great people. And
You have outsiders come in?
Oh, sure, yes. Trackless, who won this year, they were from Muncie. They're all Ball State students, and they're kind of a jazzy type band, actually, jazzy rock, little funky, little bit of R&B mix in them. They won here in Fort Wayne, but they went to Ball State, and some of the best musicians actually at Ball State in their jazz program. And they put a band together and entered, and they won. So a lot of bands. We had a band called Kill the Rabbit from Van Wert, Ohio. Have you heard of Kill the Rabbit?
Yes, I had them on my show.
You have, yes. They won Battle of the Bands 3-4 years ago. They were from Ohio. So, and like I said, Fair Fiola was from Warsaw, and Trackless was from Muncie. So you don't have to be from Fort Wayne to win that competition, which is kind of cool because, we broaden out. We get bands that come in from Bloomington,
So
Indianapolis.
actually it's statewide.
Yeah,
No?
or even tri-statewide because we have bands from Ohio that come in.
Right.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of fun, and the public's welcome to come out, and how it works is it's 50% crowd vote, 50% judges. We normally have 4 judges, and we account for 50% of it, and then crowd votes another 50%. So in other words, you can come out and support a band that you might personally like, or you can come out and listen to the 4 and vote for who you think was the best that evening.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the evening, we tally the 2 up, and 2 of the bands move on, and 2 will be done. But it's really good exposure because What's Up covers it so heavily that every issue they devote space to the competition.
Is it televised?
No, usually the finals are. The finals are usually televised, but the rest of it's not.
It would be fun if it was televised.
Well, it would be a lot of work because technically it's 17 weeks. So it would be a lot of work to televise all of them. But I'll let Doug know, though, because that might be something we can get public access to do.
Hello. Me.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So, like it's on once a week or something?
Yeah, Thursday nights starting in
Every
May.
Thursday,
Yeah, it'll
starting
start
in
in May again this year. Thursday nights at Columbia Street. from 9 to midnight.
9 to midnight?
Yes, I know. It's a long night for me because I have to get there at 8 and I don't leave till 1 in the morning, so it's a long night. But I enjoy it. It's fun. And for me, I get to meet a lot of new talent, and a lot of the bands that I get to know will end up coming and playing at Wood Nickel, and will sell their CDs. And so I have some good tie-ins myself, and I help promote it, a lot of social networking myself. I promote each week. I'm out there hitting the pavement promoting the shows too. So
it must hurt your hand.
No, it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it.
So how many groups do you know that are here in Fort Wayne?
Well,
that are active.
There's really no way of knowing because
that you know of.
It's in the hundreds.
Hundreds?
Oh gosh, yes, it's in the hundreds. I mean,
everybody wants to be a singer.
Well,
and some of them.
Well, like I was telling you before, on my YouTube account, it's amazing to me. I mean, I never thought I'd have 2,000 some videos of local bands, but I've worked with, I've lost count, but it's got to be in the neighborhood of 300 to 400 local artists I've worked with in the last 10 years.
Are you their mentor?
No. They ask me for advice. Typically, they'll come in and say, "Hey, we're looking for some direction here on what to do. Where's a good place to record our CD, or if we record our CD, can we sell it in your stores, or what does the CD need to look like?" And they ask me questions like that quite often. But unfortunately, the thing about musicians I have found through the years is that in most cases they can be great guitar players, great drummers, but they're not necessarily businessmen.
That's what they need. They need managers.
Yeah, and so a lot of them will come and just get advice from me, and I'll just, being that I've been involved in the music business since the 1970s, I got some knowledge.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, and I started. I mean, we had back in the old days. It was kind of funny because the labels back then were very active, and they had what was called retail reps, and those were people that would, when a band would come to a town. Like let's say a 38 Special, or Dokken, or Queensryche, or Crocus, or I can go on. They'd have bands come into town, and they would say, we'd like to do something with a local record store because they sell a lot of our albums.
Right.
And so we'd have bands come in, like all these bands I just mentioned, Foreigner, and just tons of bands would come out to the store, and they'd sign autographs, and in some cases they'd do a little acoustic set.
Sure.
That kind of like Joe Bonamassa, who I'm sure a lot of people out there are familiar with. Joe played in our store on 3 different occasions over the years.
I would like to meet
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joe's a great guy.
He seems like a very nice person.
Yes, and very humble guy. And
a lot of singers are humble.
Yeah. Oh, they are. Yeah. They know that. I mean, a lot of them will treat the fans with a lot of respect because they're the ones that they're making their money from. You know what I mean? It comes down to that. I mean, it's And so most of them are some of them kind of get caught up in the stardom, and they can go overboard and that type of thing. But a lot of them are just, they really stay humble, which is great. But what I was getting to with my point was that when I first started in business, I was able to get a lot of national groups that would come out, and they would sign autographs and that type of thing. But a lot of that faded away because record companies, especially with downloading and started in the 90s, the first people to get cut from the record companies, unfortunately, were the record reps. So that kind of took us out of the realm of having bands in most cases. We still get one now and then, but not like we used to. So what I did is I started to say, let's replace that. Let's start having local bands come in and play.
Yes.
And then in the 90s, I started having the Sonny Taylors and the Dave Toderons and
Mimi
a lot
Burns.
of the Mimi's been in, yes. A lot of those type of artists would come in and play in our stores. And now it's been a tradition. And like I said, I've had, just in January alone, I've had 10 artists so far. I'm right now at the taping today. I'm working on a Valentine's Day lineup. We'll do that the Saturday before Valentine's Day. I think that's February 8th at 1 p.m. at our Anthony store.
Right.
We will have 3, 4, 5 bands play, and we're going to do a Valentine's theme on that. And then I start getting bands ready for Record Store Day in April.
So you have a whole year planned Really?
Yeah, we do. We usually do like a summer jam, fall jam, winter jam, spring jam, and then
You don't want to get jammed up.
no, but we do like we'll do a long day where we'll have a lot of different genres represented, and then the other thing we fill it in with is we'll do a new release show. Like
Yes.
right now, there's several bands that are looking to do shows. Sonny Taylor, for example, is
She's
getting
releasing
ready.
another?
She's releasing another CD soon. We
about-
don't have the date yet.
Yeah, I read
but
about Grace Minna.
Grace, yes, Grace. We just got her CD in this last week. We'll probably have her in. She's doing a new release party on March 1st at Come to Go.
That's good.
No, February 1st. I'm sorry, February 1st at Come to
Really?
Go.
Oh,
But we'll probably have her in too.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
She's sweet.
Oh, she's a nice young girl. Yes.
We had her perform for an event we had over the weekend on January 12th.
Oh, awesome.
You missed her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and your gang.
Oh, I've seen Grace perform several times at C2G. You know, her dad is the pastor there, Mark, who I know real well, and she's open for some national acts that have come in.
That's true.
So she's had some good exposure on stage already, but she's learning the craft, and she had her CD produced over at Sweetwater Sound with Mark Hornsby, who's from Nashville, a really good producer. Who I also know well. He's really good, and so she's got a good team of people behind her, and a lot of support.
She's also been on my Christmas show.
Oh, good.
Last year.
Oh, awesome.
December.
Awesome.
So this is getting on towards the end of the show.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add to my audience? What do you want to talk about?
Well,
What's happening? What's cooking?
yeah. I mean, right now, the big thing is resurgence in vinyl, and it's funny because a lot of folks that I'm seeing coming in are actually young people.
Yeah.
We sold a record, no pun intended, amount of turntables this last Christmas.
A record of selling records.
Yeah, we'll sell the turntables, so they got to come in and buy records, right? So our turntable sales have been really good, and that's a good indication that young people are getting into buying vinyl again. So that's really the biggest surprise I have right now as a guy who's been really heavily into CDs. But one of my store managers, Tim Hogan, has been actually selling vinyl since the early 70s, and he's been with me now 30 years, and he's like the longest working record guy in town, longer than myself.
Oh,
and
wow.
But he's a staunch vinyl guy, and he knows the value of any record. He buys records at our Anthony store on a daily basis, so he's really, really into vinyl. And so if anybody has any questions about vinyl, Tim Hogan's the guy to talk to at the North Anthony location. And he
So
can
you
answer your
have
questions.
3 locations.
Yep.
What are they?
North Clinton Street, which is the one I work at. That's the original store that's 32 years old now, right next to Glenbrook Mall and Target. And that's primarily mostly a CD store, but now like I was telling you before, we're starting to get back into vinyl again. But we have 24,000 different CD selections there, so that's the biggie there. And then the Anthony store, which I just mentioned, that Tim
North
works
Anthony?
at. North Anthony Boulevard, yes. And that's primarily mostly vinyl and cassettes and that type of thing. They do have CDs and that also, but they're really into vinyl now over there. And then our third store is on West Jefferson Boulevard, next to Chops in the Village at Time Corners. And they're kind of a combination of the two.
Well, Bob, this is Bob Roets, president of Wooden Nickel Music Stores. I'd like to thank you for coming onto my show.
Thank you.
I have to come for you on next year.
Okay, all
not
right.
every 2 years.
All right, I'll be back.
Okay, so thank you for coming onto my show, and thank you, people in the audience. I hope to see you next week. Have a great day, and God bless. Bye-bye.